rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know, look at that. It is the day after, and well, so far we haven't turned into a hellscape. The world hasn't burned down. The second coming hasn't happened. You know, the screeches and the yells and the fiery plans that everybody thought was going to happen. Well, they never came to fruition. It's just another beautiful Thursday. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. It is awesome to see you. Stormy, David, good morning. Elka, Shadow Gray Wolf, Debbie Webb. Oh my gosh, Tammy Bugard, Cap Kern, how you doing? Man, oh man, oh man. JD fan. Yes, it is another day in the. And the salt mines are not empty, so there'll be more. I'm sure. It's a lot of danger. I mean, it might be a burning hellscape for some people, you know, especially if you're in Southern California. But this is not uncommon. The wild winds, they fuel that Southern California wildfire. It's forced thousands to evacuate. Now this happens quite often. Quite often this will happen, that California gets these wildfires that come through because they've got underbrush that doesn't clear it out, and you know, it's just dead, rotted, dried up, hot. And so crap burns, and whenever it burns, it does a lot of destruction. Camarillo, California, fast-moving wildfire fueled by heavy winds was tearing through a community. Northwest Los Angeles for a second day. Wow, you didn't even know there was fires in California unless you live there. After destroying dozens of homes and forcing thousands of residents to flee, run, little fleas. When it exploded in size in only a few hours, the mountain fire prompted evacuation orders Wednesday for more than 10,000 people as it threatened 35,000. Structures in suburban communities, ranches, and agricultural areas around Camarillo, California. Gavin Newsom said in a statement the fire was at 0% containment late Wednesday, according to Ventura County Fire Department. well, maybe you can get Camel Toe back in there, and she could do so much to prevent those forest fires by keeping people in prison. That was one of the things that was. Oh, yeah, I guess we shouldn't be talking about that too early. Too early. The National Weather Service has a red flag warning, which indicates conditions for high fire danger, which could remain in effect until 6 p.m. Thursday. Winds are expected to decrease significantly by Thursday night, the Weather Service said, or as they said, you bowlers need to run because it's hot. Finally got some sleep. Let's effing go. Yeah, same. Yes, that was I was working off a 7-hour sleep over a working on 3-day period. And yes, thank you last night for Volstorm Dictionary Diva coming by. They definitely brought the fire. Well, at least Diva did with that lovely auburn hair. Good to see you. Good morning, brother. I'm glad you got some sleep. And I had an invite. From MG last night. And I was like, dude, I am so exhausted. I really need to get some sleep. Yes, my lovely wife, she was not expecting me to come to bed so early. She curled up on the couch last night because I probably started snoring almost immediately. I was beat. My brain had been going overtime. 7.5 hours stream the night before. Ooh, well, the day before, and then I got up and did another stream in the morning. Just to sip on the salt. Oh, yeah, you got an invite too, but I just couldn't. Yeah, it was just too much. I'm so glad that I hope MG stream went really well last night. Officials in Southern California counties urge residents to be on the watch for fast-spreading blazes. Watch out for those fast-spreading blazes. They're almost as lethal as the monkeypox. Be on watch for those fast-burning blazes, power outages, down trees amid the latest round of notorious Santa Ana winds. Yeah, it's pretty common this happens in California. The mountain fire was burning a region that has seen some California most destructive fires over the years. And it's not climate change just because California has really bad forestry control. The farmers back in the day, they used to go in and clear out the underbrush, but California made it illegal to do that. And whenever they made it illegal to clear out that underbrush, all it takes is one little spark, one little drop of dew sitting on a branch, and it'll magnify it. Next thing you know, you got a fire. Someone throws out one of those wacky tobacco cigarettes out in the grass, and next thing you know, you've got a wildfire that destroys a good portion of Southern California, and it catches on fire and goes crazy because of all the dried up leaves, and then you add the winds to it. It gets worse, and then you'll end up with all of this lush growth that starts up. But the only problem is there's nothing to retain the water, and then you get these floods that come the spring, massive flooding. The monsoon rains come in, and next thing you know, you're worried about mudslides and rock slides. And I mean, welcome to planet Earth. Welcome to planet Earth. It does those kinds of things. Good morning, Stormy, Mary Waltz. Good to see you. Oh yes, it is. It is going to be interesting today. This morning is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what the news wants to report. Usually in the morning, I'll get some information that comes in through the AP, and what they usually are doing is they're telling me what is going on in the mornings, and it wasn't until just about 5 minutes ago that I got all of the AP's news comes rolling in, and it says the AP Votecast survey says worries about the economy help Trump return to the White House. Worries about the economy? No, it wasn't worries about the economy. I mean, the worries were there. That wasn't the main cause of it. The main cause of Trump getting back into office was the fact that 4 years prior, the United States in the most free and fair election ever created. It was so free and fair that there was at least a few million voters over any rolls in prior or past or future elections. 2020, it was the biggest, largest, most spread out spread that you've ever seen. That people came out en masse, and AP has a reason for this too, because whenever you're talking in the millions, tens of millions of more voters turned out to vote for Joe Biden than any of his predecessors ever. Yeah, that one right there. That right there tells you that it was there was nothing shady going on. It was the most freest, fairest election ever. And of course, they made their voices known this year with which was a bloodbath. Whew. But of course, we do have more news coming out, and as the House and the Senate and all of that stuff happens, it's gonna change into a complete different landscape. Or at least we hope. First responders pleaded with residents that got on their hands and knees, but Camel Toe wasn't there to put her head down and go to work. Deputies made contact with 14,000 people, began to urge them to leave as embers spread for miles and sparked new flames. Ventura County Fire Captain Trevor Johnson described crews racing with their engines. They were racing with their engines to homes threatened by flames to save lives. Yeah, be careful of the flames. They will threaten your lives. It's as intense as it gets. The hair on the back of the firefighter's neck, I'm sure, was standing up, he said during a news conference Wednesday afternoon. 2 people suffered apparent smoke inhalation, were taken to hospitals Wednesday, fire officials say. No firefighters reported significant injuries, maybe because they have, masks that help pump air into their lungs. Officials said they were using all resources, including water-dropping helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft dropping fire retardant. It was still burning out of control. Andrew Dowd, a Ventura County Fire spokesperson, said he did not have details on how many structures had been damaged. We can't really tell through all the smoke. So many fires. Meanwhile, in South Los Angeles County Fire Department crews were scrambling to contain wildfire near Malibu's Broad Beach. Yeah, that's where all the broads hang out, is Broad Beach. As authorities briefly shut down the Pacific Coast Highway as flames burned near multi-million-dollar properties, residents were urged to shelter in place while aircraft dropped water on the 50-acre or 20-hectare Broad Fire. By late Wednesday, the fire was 60% containment and its forward progress was stopped. Oh, it stopped it. Los Angeles County Fire Department said in a statement, fire officials said 2 structures burned. Oh, and they say structures. They could have been like the doghouse in the backyard. With predicted gusts up to 50 miles an hour, the humidity levels are as low as 9%. Parts of Southern California could experience conditions ripe for extreme and life-threatening fire behavior. Don't you guys put down. Fire lives matter too. The Weather Service said wind gusts topped 61 miles an hour on Wednesday. They're issuing red flag warnings until Thursday from California's Central Coast. Utilities in California begin powering down equipment. And that during high winds, extreme fire danger. Well, that really sucks that they're powering down electrical equipment. Imagine this. You're in California, your Tesla, you put it on charge, you wake up the next morning, they power down your whole house. And guess what? That Tesla, it ain't going nowhere. I think you wish you had a gasoline engine at that point in time, doesn't it? I mean, you could always get on your riding lawnmower. Oh, that's right. They don't allow that. So no. Welcome. No, those fire trucks that are out there, they got the big pumps on there. I wonder how long they want run on electricity, pumping water out. But California wants to go net neutral by what is it, 2034, 2095? What's their third 10-year plan that they've got happening? I mean, it's hey, but if you want to live in a state that does that, you go for it. You go for it, kids. Which destroyed more than 1,000 homes, other structures in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, Southern California, Edison, has paid tens of millions of dollars to settle claims after its equipment was blamed for both blazes. Oh, that's right. That's right. How you doing, Aussie Wombat? Good to see you. Good to see you. Where's my fire fairy at? She knows about them their forest fires. I smashed the heck out of that thing. Oh, that's right. Smash it. Smash it so hard. it's the easiest thing that you'll do all day. Smashing that like button. Oh my gosh. And of course, I heard this, and I have to wonder. I have to wonder because AP, why do you have fact checkers? I honestly do wonder why they have fact checkers. It is amazing to me that the AP has these fact checkers, but they don't check what people are talking about. That is always a problem. Always a problem. Fact Focus: a multi-million vote gap between 2020 and 24 fuels false election narratives. I guess I don't understand what multi-million means. Less than 24 hours after DT was elected the 47th president of the United States, social media users began pushing two conflicting narratives, really, to suggest election fraud. Never. It was the freest, fairest election. Nothing was found there. One that revived false claims by Trump in 2020 that it was stolen, and the other questioning how Camel Toe could have received so many fewer votes in 24. Oh, both these narratives hinge on a supposed 20 million vote gap between Harris and Biden. Well, if I had $1 for every one of those, I would not have to work. Here's a closer look at the facts. Oh, let's see what the facts are. What are the facts? Are the facts what they want to claim, or is the facts what people are talking about? Because what the claim is, Joe Biden approximately won 20 more million votes in 2020 than Camel Toe has earned in the 2024 race, proving that either Trump has cheated his way to a second term or that there was widespread fraud 4 years ago. That's not what the claim was. It was a question. So they've got their question wrong, like drastically, because people ask the question, why do we have this $20 million, not dollar, that would be nice, a 20 million vote gap between all the prior years and then the incoming years? Well, I think the AP has a reason for this. The claims are unfounded. Well, so you're saying that there wasn't 20 million more votes, because that's what they just said, that those were unfounded. Okay. So they're saying that it was unfounded. Votes from Tuesday's presidential race are still being counted. Oh, that's the vote gap. That's what it means. I understand. AP has explained it. The reason why that you're seeing the disparity in the 20 million votes, or overall, how many votes were cast as compared to how many you have this year, it's because the votes haven't all been counted yet. That is a very valid reason. And are still being counted. So any comparison with previous races would not be accurate. That is absolutely valid. Election officials and agencies monitoring the vote have reported no significant issues with Tuesday's election. So you got that. Now, they didn't say anything about the one 4 years ago, but this one, there was no significant issues. And then claims of widespread fraud have been debunked countless times. That wasn't the question. So, I mean, back to the original question. The question was, why do we have 20 more million votes this year than in prior years? And then, or last year, 4 years ago. 4 years ago, why do we have 20 million more? That's the initial question. And yet they've not been able to answer that question. I mean, did 20 million people disappear between now and then, or did they stop voting? I mean, there's got to be a reasonable explanation for this. not saying anything bad happened. Did Trump still win? I'm back to fighting insomnia. Love y'all. You get some rest, brother. You need it. You need it. You always need a little bit of rest, man. So that is the question. If there's this 20 million vote gap, do you think that the camel toe will all of a sudden end up with 20 million more votes than there was in prior years? I'm just curious, where are all those extra votes going to come from? It'd be really nice to see, because right now, Trump with the popular vote, it doesn't look much different than it did in prior years, and all the votes aren't counted. Not claiming anything, just a question. It's food for thought. As we said repeatedly, our election infrastructure has never been more secure in election community, but that they have not answered the damn question. Cybersecurity why would they have to have cybersecurity? I don't understand. What? Because cybersecurity means that somebody is able to access these without being physically there at the machine. They have to use the interwebs to connect to it. So you wouldn't need cybersecurity on free and fair and all that stuff. This is what we saw yesterday in the peaceful and secure exercise of democracy. No, well, I guess the act of voting would be considered democracy, but we're a constitutional republic. Okay. Importantly, we have no evidence of any malicious activity. Well, in this election, but what about 4 years ago? Was there anything that happened 4 years ago? But what happened is our court system said, no, we're not even looking at it. You haven't proven your case, so we're not looking at it. If you don't look at it, you don't know. That the question still remains, but it doesn't matter at this point. Why? Why does it not matter? Because in 4 years' time, we watched Biden destroy the economy. We watched Harris help. We watched the Democrats and the Republicans do things that Americans weren't approving of. And they made their voices heard this go round. They got out and they voted, and they made it a very loud, resounding, we're not going to take this shit anymore. And that's how they handled this next election. And guess what? The world didn't burn down. Lives didn't get ended because of it. Nothing different. It just means that our economy is probably going to get better for 4 years. And we should hold the people that we put in place as our elected officials, hold their feet to the fire on all the promises that they're making. We should hold their feet to the fire and say, hey, you're telling us you're going to cut how many trillion? 3 trillion out of the budget. You're going to get rid of some of these federal employees. That sounds like a wonderful idea to me. You're going to downsize government, more money back into the pockets of the middle class, of the working class, of the poors, of the rich. Everybody's going to make money off of this. Man, sign me the fuck up. Pardon my language. Multiple Pennsylvania officials. Now see, I don't understand why they're talking about Pennsylvania officials, because if it was the freest and fairest ever, you wouldn't have to worry about this. Multiple Pennsylvania officials, including Josh Shapiro, said that they had not seen any signs of cheating. There you go. No signs of cheating. And called the election secure after Trump said in a Truth Social post Tuesday there was a lot of talking about massive cheating in Philadelphia. What? Is he wrong? Was there a lot of talking about it? There might have been. If I'm not mistaken, didn't election officials step in and have to tell it was the court system? Yeah, that's right. Not saying anything shady was happening, just saying they were cutting people out of lines, and they actually extended their early voter rolls. So what AP is reporting, their fact checkers are twisting the information so it fits their narrative. And yet posts circulated online claiming otherwise, receiving hundreds of thousands likes and shares. 20 million votes weren't counted. I knew it. Trump cheated. What? Another X post was shared a bar graph of presidential election results from 2012, 2014. And if these numbers are accurate, this is that's the problem. It says, if these numbers are accurate, what happened? If these numbers are correct, if there were 20 million more votes cast for Joe Biden in 4 years earlier, what happened to these other 20 million voters? It's not like they just left the country for 4 years or 8 or however long it is. And it is an insane number, but we're not done counting the votes yet. Boosh, how you doing? One guy single-handedly went around and roused the Amish vote in Pennsylvania. Exactly. we saw, yeah. Harris had won about 67 million votes as of Wednesday afternoon, compared to the approximately 81 million Biden garnered in 2020. Pardon me. Okay. A difference of about 14 million, but that gap is decreasing as the vote count continues. See? No state has counted 100% of its ballots yet. Trump is so far lagging behind his 2020 total by approximately 2 million. So here's the thing. Think about this. And you can correct me, AP, if I'm wrong on this. You're saying that Kamala, Camel Toe, she's going to get 20 million more votes, which would put her in. Why would she concede then if she's going to get 20 million more votes because all the votes haven't been counted? 14 million. Hell, even 10 million. If you're telling me that differentiation in gap, and it's a serious question here. If you've got this big variation in gap, they're saying, well, I mean, it's just 14 million votes. That means that the states that she could have gotten, that she lost clearly, that she conceded against, that means that there's going to be 14 million votes spread out across these states, which in comparison, Trump is 2 million below. So even if he gets those 2 million more votes, you're still going to have more votes, which means you would have won the election. Right? Isn't that what it means? So why would you concede? I guess that's really confusing to me. I guess once all the votes are counted, there will be 20 more million in there, and I guess you'll feel really stupid that you conceded. Biden won the Electoral College with 306 votes to Trump's 232, and it looks like that completely flipped this year, because Trump looks like it's going to be 310 or 309 or something like that. 3 trucks and California plates showed up in Detroit but hey, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I don't know anything about that. We have Amish up here in northern New York all summer. I get dirt cheap veggies at their Shack grocery store. Yeah, but they're trying to shut those things down. Go wash your hands. Ew. I think Hamilton needed 500,000 to take Pennsylvania. They count printed enough. They couldn't print enough ballots in time. That's a possibility. Now, Trump was repeatedly advised by members of his own administration that there was no evidence of widespread fraud. Okay. See, there you go. No evidence of it whatsoever. Numerous legal challenges alleging that voter fraud was pursued by the Trump campaign and its backers. Trump campaign and its backers were heard, roundly rejected by dozens of courts. Well, and that was because they improperly filed things. They got in a rush, and you had cuckoos like Sidney Powell that, like, is it possible? I don't know, because the courts denied even hearing the cases or looking into them. That's what happened in 2020. they couldn't even get them in front of courts. Now, unlike them not being able to get that information in front of courts in 2022, whenever Trump told people that he was running for re-election, man, they were able to fast track getting him in front of courts at that point in time. Damn right. They had Trump in front of how many court cases? How many counts did you Democrats claim against Trump? There go those, by the way, those prosecutors like Fannie Willis and what's his name, Dick Smith or whatever his name was. Yeah, those people are going to be looking for new jobs. Yeah. Because that right there would be election fraud. And Jack Smith or Webb or whatever. There's going to be a lot of people looking for new jobs come 2025. That's how it goes. All right, I'm gonna go grab some coffee. Give me just a second. So you're gonna get a little bit of a coffee song. I'm going to go see my wife and go fill up on some of those tears. I'm just kidding. Grab yourself some coffee.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and see. Oh, Rambo's rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Whoa, Rambo's rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky. Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye. Oh my! Oh, Rambo's rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the wave. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the waves. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Oh, Rambo's rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having a effing blast. So here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too. Well, here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too.
Oh yeah, we're back. Oh my gosh. Howdy, howdy there. What's your hip again, JD? I told you to stop doing that. First time catching a Shizzy live. Well, I will tell you, it is a wonderful place to be. Oh, what a pretty horse you have there, Cinepats. Good to see you, Lindy. It is wonderful. Oh yeah, Nanny Goat. Thankfully, I've never heard of kangaroo bacon. Thinking that would be so much worse than beef bacon in Indonesia. Could be. I don't know. I never thought about kangaroo bacon. I guess that would be pretty bad. Probably some tough kangaroo stuff. Oh my gosh. Well. Let's see. We'll move on from that interesting fact check, whatever that was supposed to be. Control of the U.S. House hangs on the balance with enormous implications for Trump's agenda. Do you think they'll start yelling out this Project 2025 that Trump is like, yeah, I don't. It's a bunch of hoopla. I don't agree with it. I wonder if that's what they're going to be screaming about in this article. Oh my gosh. Washington, the U.S. House majority hung in the balance on Wednesday, teetering between Republican control and what would usher in a new era of unified GOP governance in Washington. Well, it isn't really new. We've seen it before. And then they dropped the ball. Or they just sort of punted it down the road. There was very little conservative action that was happening. And the conservative action that did happen was very horrible. If you don't remember what happened the last time that we had the conservatives had control of both the House, the Senate, and the presidency, there was a little thing that happened called the Patriot Act. This is one of the reasons why you can't walk through an airport without having to kick off your shoes and get body scanned or groped or have like all of these millions of agents that want to stop you as you come through. Do you realize how more efficient things would be if government stepped out of the way and let people get on planes like they used to? Why are we not allowed to do that? Because of fear. Are you telling me back in the 70s, in the 80s, whenever you could get on a plane, hell, any time before that, whenever you could walk up, put your bag on a little cart, you could roll it up there, they load it up on the plane, you'd go on with your carry-on, you'd just walk right up to the gate, and whenever you got off the plane, your family members would meet you right there at the gate. Your loved ones. They wouldn't have to wait behind some dividing line. They could come and see you as you got off the plane. Now you have to have a ticket just to even get past a certain point in the airport. Do you think it was any safer back then than it is now? That Patriot Act really did a number on people. It put fear into them. The boogeyman, usually wearing a turban, was right around the corner at every turn. You had to be wary of every single person. Yeah, you can thank Bush for that crap. A few individual seats or even a single one will determine the outcome. Final tallies will take a while, likely pushing decision into next week or beyond. Well, we don't expect to know the election results for weeks on end. After Republicans swept into the majority of the U.S. Senate by picking up seats in the West Virginia, Ohio, Montana, House Speaker Mike Johnson predicted his chamber would fall in line next. Republicans are poised to have a unified government in the White House, Senate, and the House. President-elect Donald Trump, who won the Electoral College and the popular vote against Camel Toe, has consolidated growing power around his Make America Great movement. Wow, I guess there's a problem with making America great. I guess for some people there might be. Backing newcomers to Washington and setting the stage for his own return to the White House. Johnson said Republicans in Congress are preparing an ambitious 100-day agenda with Trump, who has said is thinking big about his legacy. Oh, it's so big, it's so glorious. Tax cuts. Wow. Does that suck? Is that big enough for you? Right there, top of it. Hey, how's it going? When you lived in Australia, you once had a kangaroo steak, and it was the best ever. Vegetarian for over 20 years now. Drummer was in Mission Viejo, California. Guitar player was in Glasgow, Scotland at the time. You sang and lived in Massachusetts in '99. Wow, that's so awesome. Had an online band. That's a beautiful thing. Mm. This is absolutely insane. That tax cuts securing the southern border are just some of the things that Donald Trump is planning on doing. These are things that could have been done during Biden Harris administration. But now we got Trump Vance that are going to be coming in there. Like I said, hold their feet to the fire. They're saying they're promising tax cuts, then hold their feet to the fire. Where are those tax cuts coming from? And taking a blowtorch to federal regulations. I don't know if it's really a blowtorch to federal regulations, because from what I remember of what his agenda was, is he wanted to eliminate regulators like the FDA, like the EPA, all of the little agencies that are making laws by making mandates against people without going through proper legal channels. He wants to eliminate that. So instead of the FDA coming in and telling Amish farmers that they can't produce milk for sale, that's part of what the FDA does, and they shut down businesses that do that. That because it's not regulated, we're gonna cut that out. Why do you think the Amish farmers came out in mass? Because they're being told that the stuff that they're growing, they're not able to sell. Well, that sucks. So only two of us alive, this in Paris and you. Oh, that's awesome. Trump himself has promised mass deportations. Yeah, that is exactly what he promised. He promised that they were going to get illegals out of the country. And if they want to come back in, they're more than welcome to apply to come back in unless they broke the law in the first place. Oh, that would be right. If you cross the border illegally, you broke the law. But if you were here applying for asylum, then you'd probably be just fine. You don't have to worry about it. Republicans want to push federal agencies out of Washington. Yeah. Do you see it? I see nothing wrong with this agenda. Do you? They're saying he's going to have retribution against his perceived enemies. What kind of retribution do you think it would be? Do you think he would be firing people that were there in the first place, that have been there since before he ever even thought about running for office? People that were there while he was running office and did nothing to help his help him out. Do you think he wants to keep that transition team going? It's crazy that there's this thought of, oh, it's oh so horrible. It's oh so horrible. Hey, how you do? Look at that. Look at that Aussie Wombat with a $14.99 super sticker. Man, thank you so much. Let's see if I think I have something for that super sticker. It is going to be, oh yeah, here. Oh, this is for you, for that super sticker. Look at that. That's just, oh, it's so tasty. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. That is so cool. There's a few videos of your music there. A small channel. Hey, that's wonderful. I'm glad you have a channel going up. It's a good thing whenever people do the YouTube thing and they get out there and start putting out what they enjoy doing. Retribution against perceived enemies as Republicans want to push federal agencies out of Washington and restaff the government workforce. I'm telling you, if you've got people that are embedded in Washington that are not looking for the best interest of the United States, then I see nothing wrong with firing these long-term people that have been in the United States and are embedded into this hierarchy of running the country behind the scenes whenever they weren't elected. They're just paid employees, and they come in with their diversity, their equity, their inclusion, and then they get removed from their job. See nothing wrong with that there. That's what we want to have. That's what we want to have in this government. You haven't showed too much lately, been a little depressed. Don't be depressed. Don't be depressed. Seriously, that dog is adorable. I know. It's a little Frenchie. And Republicans want to press federal agencies restaff the government workforce with the help of outside think tanks. Well, and whenever they say think tanks, they're talking about cutting, what is it, 4 trillion, 3 trillion out of our deficit. This is money that will come back to people in the form of tax cuts. We're right on the verge of having one of the best booming economies. And AP does not like this because they lose control. They lose access to all that insider information. Mm-hmm. But Johnson, just after a year on the job, has had difficulty governing the House, and the new Congress would be no different. Hardliners led by MGT, MTG, whatever. Representative Matt Gaetz and others have often confronted and upended their own GOP leadership. What's been one of the most chaotic sessions in modern times? No, that was the prior, and yes, they will constantly do it. They will constantly do that. They have Reese's peanut butter cups. So I need to get some packs. God, if Johnson's slim 4-seat majority were to shrink any further, governing could come to a standstill. Mm-hmm. Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries said the House remains very much in play. It doesn't look good for him. With Democrats having defeated 2 House Republicans in Jeffries' home state of New York, he said the path to the majority now runs through pickup opportunities in Arizona, Oregon, Iowa, California that are still too early to call. It's always still too early to call. Ooh, love the chocolate peanut butter cups. With Democrats having defeated 2 House Republicans. Oh, okay. We must count every vote. Every vote. You got to count every vote. Hopefully they'll find another 20 million for Camel Toe, and then she'll say, oh, look, I won by popular vote. The House contest remained a tit-for-tat fight to the finish with no dominant pathway to the majority for either party. Rarely, if ever, have the 2 chambers of Congress flipped in opposite directions. Each side is gaining and losing a few seats, including through the redistricting process, which is the routine redrawing of House seat boundary lines. The process resets seats in North Carolina, Louisiana, Alabama. Much of the outcome hinges on the West, particularly California, where a handful of House seats were being fiercely contested. Mail-in ballots arriving a week after the election will still be counted. Hard-fought races around the blue dot in Omaha, Nebraska, and far-flung Alaska are among those being watched. If they were so confident in their win, AP wouldn't be talking about this. AP would not be talking about it. He called the Senate incredible. Praise Johnson, said he's doing a terrific job. From the U.S. Capitol, Mitch McConnell, what a garbage human being. Privately, a harsh Trump critic. Privately, really? Privately, a harsh Trump critic? Are we sure about that? Because he seemed pretty damn public about his little. Never mind. Called it a hell of a good day. Senate Republicans marched across the map alongside Trump, flipping off the 3 Democrat-held seats and holding their own against Democrat challengers who failed to unseat Ted Cruz in Texas and Rick Scott in Florida. West Virginia, Jim Justice, the state's wealthy governor. Why does it have to be a wealthy governor? Flipped the seat held by Joe Manchin. Go figure. Republicans toppled Democrat Sherrod Brown in Ohio, GOP luxury car dealer. GOP luxury car dealer. GOP luxury. What does that have to do with anything? And blockchain entrepreneur Bernie Moreno and Tim Sheehy defeated Democrat John Tester in Montana. Amazing. Democrats avoided a total wipeout by salvaging seats in the blue wall, which, yeah, they call it a blue wall. Yeah, that guy is anything but private about Trump. Yeah. I use male peanut butter balls. So sad. No need for what they did. Good morning, Miss Tommy. Yes, good to see you, Miss Tammy. All told, state Republicans have potential to achieve the most majority in years. A testament to McConnell. A testament to McConnell? No, this is in spite of McConnell. I don't know why they're trying to prop up McConnell. McConnell is a garbage human being. Sorry, just garbage. During a news conference on Wednesday, McConnell declined to answer questions about his past stark criticism of Trump. Wait, you just said that he was a closet hating Trump Trump hater. That's what it was, that he didn't make it very publicly known. Said that he viewed the election results as a referendum to the Biden administration. Well, no shit. Dar. Also, Trump is putting forward a plan that people can get behind. I guess McConnell doesn't understand that because he's not used to getting behind anything. He's used to having things to get behind. Never mind. People are just not happy with this administration. Democrat nominee was a part of it. Wait. I remember whenever you were doing a little fist bump there, McConnell, with camel toe. Yeah, people remember that. You thought it was nice and slick back then, didn't you? Like, hell yeah, a little fist bump. Good to see you, girl. Now you're in here. You're in with the big boys now. South Dakota, John Thune, number 2 Republican. Texas Senator John Cornyn, who previously held that post up front, has replaced McConnell in a secret ballot election scheduled for when senators arrive in Washington just next week. Imagine removing McConnell from all that crap. Just imagine. How sweet it is. And the AP still can't get their shit together. Look, they finally updated it after 2 days. They finally updated it, showing how badly the Democrats lost the election. Look at that. Florida, Georgia resounding removed it. Look at that. Look at those numbers. Ooh, so tasty. 99%, 99%. Colorado, 77%. I mean, you're seeing the numbers right there of all that's been counted. Yeah, this is what you're seeing. Alaska, early mail-in votes that came in. Arizona. Oh, look at that. Arizona, Republican. 1 million. That's 200,000 more. Over 200,000 more came in Arizona than it did for him than it did for her. Isn't that wild? I swear it flies on Shizzy's stream. Time flies on my stream. Shizzy, how do I do it? I don't know. I don't know how I do it. I just do it. That's all. That is all. I just constantly grind. Oh my gosh. Let's see if this takes me back where I want it to go. I have a hard time doing this. Is it going to go back? Nope, it doesn't like me. So let's see. We got this here. Trump has vowed to shake some of the democracy's pillars. Washington, American presidential election ceremony. When the nation holds up a mirror to look at itself, they're a reflection of values and of dreams, of grievances and of skewers to be settled. Oh. Hey, Toy, how you doing? I really don't know much about American politics, but I do know the world. Sorry, planet is going more right. French people have voted left parties, but the president chose right minister president. Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. As a result, say much about the country's character, future. Core believes on Tuesday, America looked in that mirror and more voters saw former President Donald Trump delivering him a far-reaching victory in most contested states. Sorry. He won for many reasons. Oh, let's see what their reasons are. What does the AP say their reasons are? And I'm not going to look at this because I'll give my opinion on why I think Trump won this one. One, our economy is shit. Number two, our economy is shit. Number three, our economy is shit. 3 top reasons. You can talk about all of the other crap. You can talk about immigration being over the roof, but what happens whenever immigration gets over the roof and we're funding this? It comes back to the economy. That there's not enough work for people, that people aren't making a living wage, it comes back to the economy. That people are out there angry at one another over slights or whatever it might be. What does it come back to? It comes back to the economy. Whenever you can't afford to put food on your table, it comes back to the economy. When inflation goes out the roof, it comes back to your economy. So they can come up with all of the other reasons why people are looking at their pocketbooks, at their kids, wondering, well, shit, college tuition, the economy. It all comes back to the economy. You can't afford to have a really nice Christmas. What does it come back to? It comes back to the economy. Your Thanksgiving turkey is going to cost hundreds of dollars. What does it come back to? It comes back to the economy. It is the economy, stupid. But let's see what AP has to say about it. The candidate they chose to campaign through a lens of darkness, calling the country garbage. Wait, huh? Okay. One of those formidable numbers of Americans from different angles said the state of democracy was a prime concern. The candidate they choose had campaigned through a lens of darkness, calling the country garbage. Wait, no. It was Joe Biden that called Trump supporters garbage. Let's get this right, AP. Back off on the let's climb onto the truth trolley here. The truth trolley says that Joe Biden called Trump supporters garbage. Okay. Now, if you look back, there was a comedian that cracked a joke, which was a terrible fucking joke in the first place, about Puerto Rico being garbage, a trash heap. That joke, it landed flat. It wasn't even funny. The concept of it could have been, but it ended up turning out to be not funny. He is definitely called her stupid. Like he did call her a garbage human being, communist. I don't think he ever called her a bitch. I don't think he ever did that. He might have called her a communist bitch, but that's nothing abnormal. Well, that mirror reflected not only in the resistive nation's discontent, but childless cat ladies. Wait, what Trump was talking about wasn't talking about the childless cat ladies. But of course, this is politics. What it was that Trump said about the voters that were wanting to come out and dictate how your children are being taught. They're childless cat ladies, or in other words, women that don't have children, that are Karens, that come out and have no skin in the game telling adults, parents, how their children should be raised. That's what he was referring to. but I think they missed the boat on that. False stories of pets devoured by Haitian immigrants. Really? False stories. So all of the people that were coming and speaking out about those were false stories. Okay. Even the videos of the lady that was in a driveway devouring a cat. Those were false stories. I got you. Okay. Yeah, we have it on video. The internet is forever. Sustained emphasis on calling things weird. Wait, it was the Democrats that were calling Trump supporters weird, calling Trump and Vance weird, making false claims about JD Vance and something about a couch. Won't go into it, which was never even a story. It was something that somebody made up. And a sudden bout of Democrat joy. Sudden, yeah. It might have been the whole joy thing. You didn't look too joyful. They were crushed. The campaign will be remembered both for profound developments like the 2 assassination attempts on Trump. Yeah. Of course, you guys sort of, that story went away, AP. You didn't want to talk about it too much after that. There's actually been some digging into that, and it's crazy. Better put that banner. There is no banner to put. These are things that they talked about. They can go back and look if they don't believe me. Like the 2 assassination attempts on Trump and his curious chatter about golfer Arnold. See, here's the thing. I'd never even heard any of this stuff. It seemed like the left was more interested in Arnold Palmer's genitalia than anybody else. It seemed like they were more interested in talking about 2025, Project 2025. I mean, they talked about that from the get-go. Nobody else had even heard of this Project 2025. Nobody was listening to this chatter. All of a sudden, the Democrats were like, here's Project 2025, and all of them kept carrying this big, huge book out. I didn't understand the whole purpose of the book. It was weird. There you go. Weird. Even as Trump prevailed, of course, most voters said that they were very or somewhat concerned that electing Trump would bring the U.S. closer to authoritarian country. Authoritarian country? Wait, we've been living under an authoritarian, a total. I can't even get my words right. For the past 4 years, our economy went to shit. And they were saying, oh no, it's not as bad as you think. Dude, I'm paying double for what I was paying 4 years ago for food. I'm paying almost double what I was paying for in gas with no end in sight. Where the single leader has unchecked power. Wait, what? A single leader has unchecked power. Really? Single leader has unchecked power. I mean, if we really want to break that down, you want to break down the authoritarianism right there? What was it that Biden tried doing that the Supreme Court said he couldn't do? How many different things did Biden try to get passed by executive order that the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. That's not legal. And they struck it down. Was it the federal agents that they sent to the border, and the National Guard had to keep putting barriers back up because the federal government went down and started pulling the barriers down, welcoming illegals back into the country? The National Guard stepped in. The state's National Guard had to step in and protect our southern border and Eagle Pass. I guess the Supreme Court, whenever they said, yeah, you can send them down there, but you need to back the hell off. I guess we so soon forgot about that, didn't we? Amazing how that works. Still, 1 in 10 of those voters backed him manually. Nearly 4 in 10 Trump voters said they wanted a complete upheaval in how the country is run as to where it is currently. They want to go back to those days whenever you had freedom in this country, where you had liberty, where if you're going to be sending our young men and women off to go fight a war, it's not so you can line some politicians' pocketbooks. They want to get back to the time whenever gasoline was 87 cents a gallon, 79 cents a gallon. Some of you probably remember that. Some of you probably remember that. The younger kids, they think this is normal. Imagine this. You could buy a brand new car for $2,500. A brand new car, right? That fresh car smell right off the lot. You could buy a brand new car for $2,500. Hell, you can't even buy a power steering rack for $2,500. Wouldn't it be nice to get back to that? It's Back to the Future. I want those gas prices. No. 79 cents a gallon. Oh man. When I and yeah, everybody makes fun of it. When I delivered pizzas, oh my God. I had a car that I paid $1,500 for. It was a used car. It was a piece of garbage, but it went pretty damn fast. And I delivered pizzas all damn day. I was pulling in anywhere between $300 and $600 a day. Yeah, delivering pizzas. The company I worked for, we were delivering to the VA. We were delivering to Emory. And I mean, it was insane. All the major hospitals in the mornings, I was easily pulling in anywhere between $100 to $200, and then at night I'd work another shift because I'd take a break, and then I'd come back and I'd work some more. Yeah, I was working something like 10-hour days at one place delivering pizzas. 79 cents a gallon. Shit. I'd fill that damn car up and I'd drive all day and then go and fill it up at night and drive all night. That was making some damn good money. Damn good money. I mean, I only worked 4 days a week and I had all my bills paid. Didn't have insurance, but shit, I had all my bills paid. If you want to get out and go, you could do that. In this day and age, you're lucky if you can get one job. And hell, if you're going to be a driver or a delivery driver, it's going to cost you out the wazoo. Hell, how many times have we seen it get? Gas lines were the worst. Now, the cheapest you remember was 59.9. The cheapest I remember, and that would have been in the 90s, was 79 cents a gallon. It might have been less at some points in time, but yeah, it was pretty average, about 79 cents in the 90s. It was nice. It was nice. Quick Trip was my morning stop and my evening stop. And Trump's telling the economy is in shambles. The economy is in shambles. Even when almost every measure said other. What measure? You tell me what measure tells me this right here. This is putting your head in the sand. If AP believes that our economy is not in shambles, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. The border is an open sore leeching illegals. Okay. Now, this is not Trump's telling. This is the AP saying what Trump was saying. This is not what Trump was saying. He's saying that our southern border is not secure. We have millions, not just a few hundred. We have millions of illegals coming into the country. Our economy is in the shitter. It is absolutely horrendous. When the actual number of crossings dropped, when did they drop? When it was after Biden did a debate with Trump and got his ass handed to him. Then all of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to cut our border crossings because it's making us look like dumbasses. We're preaching about the border and he's winning. He's beating us on the border. We need to do something to shut this down. His win is only the second time in U.S. history that a candidate won a presidency in non-consecutive terms, demonstrated Trump's keen ear for what stirs emotions. What, the truth? Especially the sense of millions of voters of being left out. Being left out? If you sense that you were being left out, that is on you. That has nothing to do with him. Whether because someone else cheated or got special treatment or otherwise fell to the ravages of the enemy within, that's whom America decisively chose. No. What they looked at is Americans going broke, having to dig into their savings to feed their children, the economy sucking the lifeblood out of the United States workforce. Centuries old democracy. Centuries old democracy. How many centuries? We're coming up on 250 years that this country has been a country. 250 years. Imagine 250 years you're coming up on. We're a very young country. A very young country. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic, which is completely different than a democracy. The president candidate who gave voters fair warning that he might take core elements of that democracy apart. I hope the hell he does, because we are a constitutional republic. After already having tried to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power, when? How did he try to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power? All he asked of his supporters was make their voices heard peacefully. Make it loud, but make it peaceful. But that's not what happened. Instead, on January 6th of 2020, or 2021, 2020, January 6th, 2021. Yeah. For a few hours, you had some people that misbehaved and some that didn't. You had some people that misbehaved. You had people firing rubber bullets at citizens of the United States. Yeah, they don't show those pictures. Yeah, they don't show you those images. You're not allowed to show those images because they're pretty horrendous. Seeing holes in the side of people's cheeks where rubber bullets gone through because they were firing at their heads. Yeah, they don't talk about that. Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that nobody has ever been convicted of insurrection, yet they called it an insurrection. Should these people have done what they did? Some of them were trespassing, and no, they shouldn't have. They got loud, they got obnoxious, and it benefited the Democrats greatly, because now they've got reason to say this is how violent the Trump supporters are. Does that make it so? Well, they failed to talk about the Summer of Love, where entire cities burned for months. They went from town to town, city to city, burning, looting, pillaging. I guess we're supposed to ignore, major stores that had been that were allowed to stay open while mom and pop shops got shut down, and then they came through and then looted those big stores. Well, are we supposed to ignore the months of people walking into, Walmart or Target or whatever it was with baseball bats, smashing things, stealing products off the shelves, loading up their cars with multiple flat screen TVs? Hell, half of them were being dropped on the way out. We're supposed to ignore all of that. We're supposed to ignore, Mr. Dorn losing his life because of him going to make sure that a guy's business was protected. Lost his life. Are we supposed to forget about all of that? Shit that the Democrats stirred up in the first place. Problems that they created in the first place, whether it be through bad policy, whether it be through a slight disagreement. The anger and the division that you created put people in a position where they felt it was necessary to try to assassinate a former president because you called him evil. That's what we're supposed to forget. And we're supposed to forget all of that shit that you pulled. And then you're saying, well, we want compassion. You know, I saw one of the most interesting posts the other day, and they said you can't ask for compassion when you've been the bully and you've been beating on the little man, and they strike back and they put you in your place, and then you want compassion. That's not how it works. You don't get a chance to be a bully and then be the victim. Sorry. When he lost to Joe Biden in 2020, Trump mused that he would be justified if he decided to pursue the termination of all rules, regulations, articles, and even those found in the Constitution, which is not true. In this contrast to the oath he took of office, he will again to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. One rough and decidedly imperfect measure of whether Trump might mean what he says is how many times he says it. His direct threat to try to end or suspend the Constitution was largely a one-off. That's never been the case. That's been something that they've been claiming, but it would be a lie. But the 2024 campaign was thick with his vows, rally after rally, interview after interview. If realized would upend democracy. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Best basic practices, protections, and institutions as Americans have known them. Wait, no. As you've tried to create them doesn't mean that that's how Americans have known them. They used to remember that this used to be a fair country, because constantly we've had the Democrats talking about eliminating free speech. First Amendment. We've had the Democrats constantly trying to eliminate the freedom and the right to carry, bear arms. Second Amendment. These are two of the basic rights that the Democrats have tried to remove. And then they want to say, oh, we've never tried to remove your guns. What is a buyback program? It's just that. And now he says, I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. And we should hold his feet to the fire for that. Though the campaign to lusty cheers, Trump promised to use presidential power over the justice system, which he can't do. But he can't. There are certain things he can do. He does have the presidential power to fire, to get rid of people in government. He has the ability to shut down these over-bloated, over-budgeted piece of garbage groups and remove them from the bankrolls. Let these bureaucrats go out and actually find a job in an economy that they've created. And then you want that job, you're going to have to come back and show something. Oh, you want to have staff, really? Really? Why do you want to have staff? So they can type up a 15,000 page document or a bill that they want to have passed filled with pork that nobody will ever read, that they just pass through? Trump promised to use his presidential power over the justice system. No, it's not it either. To go after his personal political adversaries, which he hasn't done. But I guarantee you it was the left that was doing that. They've been doing it for the past 2 years. They've been doing it ever since before January 6th. They've been going after Trump. What was this Russia collusion bullshit that they tried 8 years ago? Then he raised the stakes further by threatening to enlist military force against domestic foes. It's not what he said. Get it right. Get it right. Doing so would shatter any semblance of the Justice Department. No, he plans on removing the Justice Department. The people that came after him in the Justice Department, the people that made false accusations and have gone after him, yeah, he's going to put him out of a fucking job. Don't blame him. Good morning. Good morning, Starzy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Doing so would shatter any resemblance of the Justice Department independence and turn soldiers against citizens in ways not seen in modern times. And he did say he was going to deport. He promised to track down and deport illegals, not immigrants, illegals. Big difference. In mass numbers, raising the prospect of using military or military-style assets for that as well. See, the problem is AP is getting this wrong. It's not hard. You already know where most of these people are, and send them on their way. Spurred by his fury and denialism of his 2020 defeat. Do you think he had reason? I don't know. Actually, I do, but you're not allowed to talk about that on this free and fair platform that we call YouTube. There's certain things you're not allowed to talk about here. Trump supporters in some state governments have already engineered changes in how votes are cast. You see, they've got a whole bunch of word salad there. Counted and affirmed. An effort centered on the false notion that the last election was rigged against him. You mean like they changed the law? Don't you start with me, Volstorm. You're not allowed to say things. I've already gotten one copyright, and it hasn't gone away. Whenever it goes away, I'll be happy to be able to talk about it. Yeah, another pillar of the system is also in his sights. The non-political civil service and its political masters, whom Trump together calls the deep state. No, the rest of the world calls it the deep state. These are the political civil service, the people that are embedded in government, that are leeches off the system. They are the welfare recipients of the federal government. They are sucking the American people dry of their money. He means the generals who didn't always heed him last time, but this time shall. Because here's the thing. Whether you like it or not, all of these gentlemen right here, this guy right here, yeah, this guy right here, this guy right here, this guy right here, that guy right there, that guy right there, all of those guys right there that you're wanting to talk about, they work for the President of the United States. He is the chief executive officer over our military. Has been, always will be. Whoever sits in that chair, sits behind that desk, leads our military. They decide what the military does. They're above all of the military. The buck stops on them. But apparently AP doesn't understand that. Trump wants to make it easier to fire federal workers. Yes, by classifying thousands of them as being outside civil service protections. That could weaken the government's power, as it should, and enforce statutes and rules by draining parts of the workforce and permit his administration to staff offices with with employees that do their fucking job. Eliminate the redundancy, eliminate the government bloat, cut trillions out, and guess who's going to be in charge of that? And that scares the ever-living piss out of them. Clearing out all the bloat out of the federal government, oh my God, just imagine how much work could get done. But if some or all of these tenets of modern democracy are to fall, it will be through the most democratic of means. Voters chose him, and by extension, this, not a Democrat, camel toe Harris. See, they're already wanting to say this is going to fail. The only way it fails is if it is done improperly. And by early measures, it was a clean election, just like 2020. Oh, of course. Eric Desenhall is a scandal management expert who has followed Trump's businesses and political career and correctly predicted his wins in 2016 and now. He also foresaw, like Nostradamus, that criminal cases against Trump would help, not hurt him. Oh, yes. Like, that was pretty fucking obvious. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning. I know in Ireland we don't pay for water out of the tap, where in the UK they pay. Yeah, if you live in certain parts of the United States, you're not allowed to collect rainwater. Imagine that. Sussing out what Trump truly intends to do and what might be bluster is not always easy. There are certain things that he says because they cross his brain at a certain moment, and they don't put stock in that. They put stock in themes, and there's a theme of vengeance. They put stock in themes. I would never put stock in themes. In the 1960s, minimum wage pay rate was around $1.20 an hour, which was higher than today if you adjust for inflation. Mm-hmm. Minimum wage should go away entirely. I hate minimum wage. I think it's absolute garbage. How about you get paid for the kind of work that you produce? That would be worthwhile. Minimum wage should be only for child labor, or I mean McDonald's employees, or AKA what Camel Toe's new job is going to be. But only for a day. Upon taking office, he said he'll be dictator, but only for a day. Well, it's a really, really big difference of what he said. He said they're going to look at it as being a dictator, but he's basically going to come in, clean house on day one. One really violent day to crack down on crime with impunity. A remark his campaign said he didn't really mean, just as people said he wasn't serious about subverting the U.S. Constitution. Well, that's not at all what he said. The voters also gave Trump's Republicans clear control of the Senate. Oh, yes, they did. And the House, looks like. The Trump will nominate for top jobs in the government. Trump controls his party in ways he didn't in his first term, when major figures in his administration repeatedly went against the will of the president. The fact that once proud people chose twice to demean itself with a leader like Donald Trump will be one of history's great cautionary tales, said Carl Gillison, a constitutional and presidential scholar at the Southern Methodist University, whose new book, Race, Ethnicity, and American Decline, anticipated some of the existential issues of the election. See, the problem is the only people that were concerned with race were the Democrats. The only people that were concerned about ethnicity, your ethnic color or your creed, were Democrats. Whereas Donald Trump was saying everyone's welcome. That's it. He wasn't having to call out people. Oh, you gays, you're welcome. Oh, you the women over there, you're welcome here too. No, he said everybody's welcome. This is America. We should act like Americans, not like the mean-spirited little Democrats that are so concerned with being diverse, equitable, inclusive, segregated. Because they've segregated people into so many different ways that they're distorted in their view of the world. Donald Trump's action will be divisive, ill-considered, and mean-spirited in his second term as in his first. He will undercut Ukraine, NATO, and the UN abroad, and the rule of law, individual lives, and our senses of national cohesion and purpose at home. Wait a second. He's going to cut funding to Ukraine. Imagine He sits down and says, on day one, you little assholes are going to get out of fighting each other. This is going to stop. We're not funding Ukraine anymore. How many billions of dollars are we going to save by not funding a war in Ukraine? How many billions of dollars? Behave. Stop it. NATO? What is NATO doing? What is NATO doing? Or how about the UN with the little blueberry berets? What are those boys doing? What business do we have being over in Europe? What business do we have being over in Europe at all? What business do we have dealing with that crap? We do have alliances with countries. And there's a reason why we have alliances with those countries, because it's beneficial for the United States, because it's beneficial for whatever country we're dealing with. That's what an alliance is. It's a two-way street. They really want to get Ukraine into NATO. They really want to get Ukraine into NATO. Russia doesn't want that to happen. There's probably a reason why they don't want that to happen, but that's where we're at with that. Europe needs to step up. They have been. Europe, I will say Europe has stood up, but they're also relying too much on the United States. You're talking about a whole God blessed area as compared to one country. One freaking country is supporting the majority of what's going on with NATO. No country in a war can enter NATO. Well, it's more than just that. It's more than just that. Because if that was the case, these countries that are supporting Ukraine shouldn't be able to enter into NATO, but they did. If you're supporting a war, then you're in a damn war. Abroad, in the rule of law, individual rights. It's amazing how they talk about individual rights, yet they want to take those individual rights away from Americans. Our sense of national cohesion. I am pretty sure that America knows what America is. Oh, except for the left. They seem to have forgotten what American values mean. They want to suspend the first article. They want to suspend the second one. That's all you need to know. From the political left, any threats to democracy were not on the mind of the independent Senator Bernie Sanders when he offered a blistering critique of the Democrat campaign. It should come as no surprise that the Democrat Party, which has abandoned working people, would find the working class has abandoned them, he said in a statement. Well, they understand the pain and political and alienation of tens of millions of Americans are experiencing. He concluded, probably not. Bernie was pretty spot on there, wasn't he? For his part, Trump says he is intent on restoring democracy, not tearing it down. Using their catchwords. Get suckered in. You should have said is, I want to restore our country back to being a constitutional republic that follows the rule of law, that stands up for the minority, where the minority has just as much rights as the majority. There was nothing democratic. He and his allies assert seen military leaders defy an elected commander-in-chief. There's nothing about that would prove that things were correct. Whether the issue was troop deployments or his wish for a splashy military parade, or seeing Democrat presidents establish illegal immigration policy and vast student loans through executive action bypassing Congress. See, that is what was done with our current leaders. But that case is built from the ground up on a lie. Oh, on a lie of a 2020. It's not that it was built up on that. You could see with your own eyes. If you couldn't see with your own eyes our economy going to shit, and you couldn't see the amount of illegals that were coming into the country, it's because places like the AP, NBC, Fox, all of these news organizations wouldn't report on it until it became so blatantly obvious that they had no choice but to report on it. He comes to office intending to pardon some, point this out, some of the people that were convicted for the January 6, 2021 riots that happened. Perhaps clear himself of the criminal cases against him. Perhaps. I guess you never really thought about this, that he said he was going to be reviewing what people were there for on January 6th, the ones that were arrested. If they were there because they were striking a police officer or assaulting somebody, destroying property, more than likely he's going to keep them there. It's the people that did nothing wrong. And you also have to remember, some of these people may still be serving their sentences, and some of them may already have completed their sentence and they're back home. But now they've got this tarnish on their reputation of being something horrible. And he can eliminate that. He has that ability to eliminate those kinds of offenses. Expunge them from, per se. I'm going to grab some coffee. I think it's time for another cup of coffee. We're going to give you another quick coffee break, and I will be right back in just a short time.
Sandy shores get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and C. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Whoa, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand, Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand, Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an
Effin' blast. Yeah. All right. Guardrails remain. One is the Supreme Court. Yeah, there are always those guardrails. There's a reason why we have different branches of the government. I guess the Democrats forgot about that. One is the Supreme Court, whose conservative majority loosened the leash on presidential behavior in its ruling expanding their immunity from prosecution. The court has not been fully tested on how far it will go to accommodate Trump's actions and agenda. Probably no different than they did on Joe Biden. There's a thing called checks and balances we've had in our government for quite some time. I think the Democrats failed to recognize. That's why whenever Biden would try to do something, they go, I'm sorry. And it wouldn't be just one Supreme Court justice that would happen to be right leaning. It would be all the Supreme Court justices are going, yeah, you can't do that. Sorry. That's not within your power or capability to do. Good morning, Rosalind Deuce. How's it going? The Roz. Guardrails remain. One is the Supreme Court. The court has not been fully tested on how far it will go to accommodate his actions, and which party will control the House is not yet known. It's pretty obvious, but it's not yet known. The Republicans' victory came from a public. God, the AP is so wrong on so many things. So put off by America's trajectory that it welcomed his brash and disruptive speech. Really? No. You're wrong about the brash and disruptive speech. See, the thing is they want to be sweet talked while they screw you. That's what the AP wants, I guess, is they want to screw you while you're being sweet talked. Whereas Trump makes no qualms about what he's going to do. He would make a horrible boxer. He would make a horrible boxer because he's showing you exactly how he's going to hit you. He's not coming out of left field. It is a slow moving train moving at them, and they hate it. They hate it so much because he's not making any qualms about what he's about to do. He's telling you from point A to point B where the strike is going to hit and how hard it's going to hit you. And I think that people are more wanting that. They want to hear how bad it is so you can prepare yourself. I think the American people are sick of having smoke blown up their ass and telling them that, it's just fine. While I'm pissing on you, that is just a bad rainstorm. No, that is not what the American people want. The American people are saying, listen, if the economy is going to be bad and I need to save for a fucking rainy day, I need to damn know. If it's going to get worse, I need to know. If you plan on going to war with someone, I want to know. There's a reason why the American people have been wanting transparency with government. They want people being responsible for these taxes that they're paying in the trillions. Trillions of American taxpayer dollars are going to fund a federal government, and nobody knows where the money's going. It just goes poof. And what do they receive from it? Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing but a bunch of people telling you that if you look at someone the wrong way, that you're transphobic. People are sick of that shit. And you still got your youngsters that their little feelings are hurt over every little joust. My God. We watched it last night. We watched all these people freaking out over Project 2025. This is a made up bullshit that somebody on your fucking side made up. And now you have this God unknown reason of fear. Among voters under 30, just half went for Trump. An improvement from his 2020 performance, according to the AP VoteCast survey. Yeah, we don't trust your surveys, AP. We don't trust your reporting. There's a reason why Americans don't trust your reporting anymore. It's because you're not reporting the story. You're reporting and making shit up as you go along to try to fit the narrative. The hypocrisy flows deep in this one, young Padawan. About 3/4 of young voters said the country was headed in the wrong direction. Yeah. And roughly 1/3 said they wanted a total upheaval in how the country is run. Yeah. By Trump's word, at least that's what they'll get. Amelia Thompson DeVoe. Yeah. You contributed to this I wonder if DeVoe is a French chick or something. I really wonder. I really wonder. It is insane to me to think that people have forgotten. Here, I'll show you this from PJ Media. This PJ Media shows it a little bit different. MAGA has birthed a new diverse Republican Party. Ooh, diverse. In 2016, roughly 87% of voters were white. But in 2024, nearly 1 in 5 Trump voters were black, Latino, Native American, or people of color. The media were flabbergasted. After all, the Democrats did everything they could to disrupt Trump's momentum with minorities. They called him Hitler. They called him racist. They called him fascist. They called him white supremacist. But throughout all their hysterical name calling, they overlooked one important thing. Illegal immigration was disproportionately injuring non-white Americans. If you're rich, white, liberal, legal immigration is a net positive. Hey, you got a nanny, a gardener, a pool guy, a handyman for pennies on the dollar. And if you're a business owner, illegal immigration is a cheap form of manual labor. What's not to love? Unfortunately, if you're a young man or a young woman who's still struggling to make ends meet, you're feeling the effects of illegal immigration directly. Under Biden's watch, there were over 8 million migrant encounters. The actual number of illegal immigrants in America is still up for debate. Well, guess what? Those millions of people need to live somewhere. And if you're getting pummeled by spiraling costs of rentals and home ownership, you're smart enough to recognize there's a cause and effect correlation here. The single most common, most universal mistake in the marketing world is marketing to yourself. Businessmen do it all the time. They assume their biases and core beliefs are the same as everyone else's, and they go surprise Pikachu when their marketing messages fails to land. The Democrats believe in identity politics, and they really, truly do. They believe in it so strongly they couldn't fathom anyone reasonable thinking anything contrary. And what is identity politics? Why? It's all about groups of people sticking together solely based on ethnic, racial, and sexual distinctions. So, of course, they couldn't fathom Latinos breaking for Trump. Surely the Latinos will identify with the mostly Latino migrants sneaking across the border. How could they not? Unfortunately, or fortunately, the Latino people are far less racist than the Democrat Party. When they saw millions of migrants flooding the border, they didn't think, gosh, his skin is the same color as mine. Yippee! That didn't even enter their mind. Instead, they thought about their own economic struggles and their own fear of being robbed, assaulted, murdered. They thought about how much they're paying for rent and how they're scared they'll never be able to buy a home of their own. They didn't have the bourgeois luxury of thinking about immigration as a political abstraction or as a low-cost nanny. These illegal immigrants are the people they're competing against for housing, entry-level jobs, education, medical help, government services. And when Latinos and black men voiced their concern, how did the Democrats respond? They chided them and called them bigots, and then committed a totally unforced PR error that could only come from the brain of a dedicated brainwashed liberal. They told Latinos they needed a new name. No, you're not Latino or Hispanic anymore. You're now Latinx. Well, the Latinos told them no. Democrat polling firm did a study. Nearly 70% preferred the term Hispanic, 21% preferred Latino. According to their own polling, 40% found Latinx offensive. But once again, white liberal Democrats were marketing to themselves because they're so hypersensitive to gender distinctions, they assumed their audience was as well. Surely the Latino voters will be delighted that we've solved that nasty problem of gender-specific Spanish language by renaming all of them. How nobly are we to civilize these people. It was astonishingly, ridiculously, jaw-dropping, arrogant. Not only some with their head inside of their own prison pocket, would even contemplate renaming an entire ethnicity, but to soothe their own liberal guilt. Most Latinos are proud of their heritage. Unlike white liberals, Latinos understand that recognizing gender distinction doesn't make you sexist, misogynist, incel, bigot. It makes you minimally observant. Till last night, there were cultural and political pressures on Latino and Black communities that dissuaded them from joining the GOP en masse. In 2024, that wall, along with the blue wall, collapsed, and it's now the beginning of a much larger political realignment. In 2024, 20% of Trump's votes came from non-whites. And although that's a new record for Republicans, I have a prediction for you. This will be the very last presidential election when only 20% of Republican voters are non-white. That number will dramatically grow in 2028 and 2032, thanks to the millions of Latinos, Black trailblazers who broke free from the Democrat plantation and crossed the border to pursue their own self-interest. In the process, they are remaking the Republican Party. Damn. Well-written article. That was by Scott Pinsker. He's in public relations, branding, crisis communications expert at the Tampa Bay, Florida. His novel, The Second Coming, a love story. It's available for purchase on Amazon. There's Scott Pinsker right there. Very interesting. Very interesting. I like his writing. Identity politics suck. Absolutely. We all bleed red blood. Well, unless you're a true alien. Stormy, exactly. We all come from the same place, the same holes, the same end of our journey. Exactly. I disagree with the naming groups when we're all people who want to live free from prosecution or persecution. Yes. Segregation is not good for Americans, but that's the problem that we've seen inside the politics of the United States is trying to segregate everybody by groups. This is the problem that the AP doesn't understand, that they've been trying to segregate everybody this whole damn time. They've made people others. Whenever you do that, you're going to expand. All you're doing is making it where people do not want to interact with you. And I think that the turning point was very well spotted this election cycle. I mean, there are things that will divide us. Disagreements will divide us. Segregation is not good for Americans. We need to unite, not divide. Exactly. At conception, we all look alike, sperm and egg. And we all need each other. That is true. That is true. We all do need each other. We all need to be able to work together. And you will have disagreements along the way, but those disagreements are to suss out the truth or to come up with a better way of doing things. It's not always that that my way is better than yours. It's just a different way to get there. And people will say this on a regular basis. One of the goals is what's best for America. That's one of the major goals. But the problem is we've lost sight of what is best for America. So the question should be, what's best for America? The answer, what is best for America? The path that we get there, the path to going there is where we should have our differences. Do we want a more united America? If you want a more united America, you can't go dividing the country into little groups because that doesn't unite America. Do you want a more prosperous America? Well, taking away the ability for people to be prosperous is not what's good for America. Do you want less government in your life? Well, adding to the government and government spending doesn't make America any better or more economically stable. if you want to get to the root of having a beautiful country where you can all drive around in electric vehicles and save the planet, then maybe come up with a new energy source that isn't just batteries that could explode and cause massive fires that you can't put out. Maybe you come up with something much better than that, something that actually works for America. You can't stifle the innovation by just saying, well, we're just going to eliminate this section of it. No, because the innovation comes from all of that. That's one thing that we've been working on for century, 2 centuries now. Innovating. You don't want to be the last person selling buggy wheels to a country that's gone to the automobile. You do have to adjust your business model along with business. Maybe you make less buggy wheels and you make more, car wheels. Our goals, our hopes, our goals for this country should be aligned and should be the same as Americans. We want to see it get much better. Bye-bye, Elka. You have a wonderful day. And as the Bible says, God made everyone in his image regardless of color, creed, or religion. That is absolutely true. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. Very much so. Very much so. You have a wonderful day, Elka. You have a wonderful day. We will see you again very soon, Elka. And it is not, it is not the end of the world if your person doesn't make it. Let's see what we got here. There is. Oh, no, I'm not gonna pull that up. That we did last night. Let's see. Someone named Lincoln Brown wrote a pretty interesting story here. Here we go. I want to read some stories from PJ Media because they're pretty damn awesome. Pretty damn awesome. And we're going to do that and refresh the page. There we go. I'm just waiting for the ads to go by because the ads will be coming up. They always do. Let's see. Do we have any more ads? I'm waiting for it to come popping up. Usually I get a pop-up ad. Oh, yeah. I like the fleur-de-lis. That's awesome. All right. Democrat depression begins. When I was growing up, my parents fancied themselves elite liberals. Be that as it may, every Saturday night, Hee Haw was on in my house. The most famous song ever to come out of that series went like this. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. In addition to the anticipated rage, the left has already begun its descent into a bottomless pit of gloom, despair, and agony. Topping the leaderboard is none other than Van Jones. The Daily Caller notes that Jones took to the airwaves last night, playing the role of Oracle of certain destruction. He opined, I'm thinking about the people that are not part of anybody's elite who are hurting tonight. There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to and know a little bit about having the economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream big over the past couple of months, and tonight they're trading in a lot of hope and for a lot of hurt. Jones went on to express his fear that minorities, the poor, the ordinary people, the non-elites would be starting the day in fear on Wednesday. Unwittingly, Jones emphasized one of the biggest drivers in this election, the elites. What Jones failed to recognize is that people of all colors, origins, nationalities, and even orientations spent a great deal of time looking at themselves and one another. They came to the conclusion that, unlike Jones and the rest of his doomsayers, they were not part of the elite. Furthermore, they realized that the elites were the problem. Those who jumped the ship broke their previously assigned ranks because they understood that the elites had sold them a bill of goods. The elites may realize that people are no longer listening to them, and so begins the depression. The forecasts of misery, oppression, poverty, and Lord knows what else. Of course, it isn't just the glitterati slipping into sackcloths and heaping ashes on their heads. Plenty of knowns are getting in on the depression. This is the introduction to the op-ed of the National Catholic Reporter entitled Hope in Time of Darkness. We now must live with our worst fears. The incompetent, dishonest, divisive, and authoritarian prone Donald J. Trump again has been elected president of the United States. In time, the volumes of books will attempt to explain this colossal lapse of judgment, sooner explored at the dire consequences of election for our nation, a wider human family, and the planet. Silly boy. Yeah. And the winner for Best Actor in a Dramatic Role is Depression Comes More Than to Give Its Addicts a Place to Wallow in Self-Pity and Narcissism. Depression can be converted into fear, and the left loves to leverage fear. To be fair, these people, the famous, not so famous, are not judging in an enormous vice. They are depressed. They are depressed because they realize they are in danger of no longer being the gatekeepers of policy, information, public opinion, and a slew of other arenas. Last night, they got the message, or 2 nights ago, they got the message that the American people just aren't into them anymore. It's not a you thing. It's a me. I love it. Good job on Lincoln Brown. Former talk show host who hosted the Lincoln Brown Show in Utah. He is one of the ex-wildland firefighters, a truck driver, bartender, hazmat responder, and columnist who worked and appeared at townhall.com in the Hill. He also holds a master's degree in theological studies. Thank you, Lincoln Brown. Kudos to him for an article well written. So are we? Are we what? Thank you for we need to call ourselves Americans with Dutch heritage or American who is gay. Always American first. No, we just call ourselves Americans. Oh, and by the way, I happen to be X, Y, or Z. I mean, you think about this, you talk to somebody on the phone, do you know exactly their racial makeup? Does it matter to you whether they're gay or straight? Does it matter to you whether they're a man or a woman, other than trying to address them the proper way? Like if I was talking to a paralegal that works in her office, I would call her Miss. Even though she's married and has grandkids, I would still call her Miss. I could call her Mrs., but it's much more appropriate to call her Miss. You know, difference between Madame and Mademoiselle. Big difference. I've got one more for you, and I'm going to call it a day. So I've got a long day of work ahead of me. They got the vote machines fired back up again. There you go. Well, they're working on getting those 20 million in there. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time to get those extra 20 million in there. Yeah, takes just a little bit of time. What we've got here, and again, the fear. Now, knowing what we just read, the fear. Shizzy, call me what you want. Maybe I'll answer. Maybe I'll answer. There you go. Trump's second term could realign U.S. diplomacy towards authoritarian leaders. Budapest, Hungary's fiery right-wing leader says Donald Trump's victory will help his own battle against illegal immigration and this multiculturalism and restore traditional family values. Does that sound bad? Maybe they could turn them on, the ones in areas that actually matter. Wake up, you bums. In Argentina, a president wants who once bear hugged Trump in a political conference in Maryland, is attacking his critics as rats and parasites, ranting against what he calls a corrupt elite and calling climate change a socialist lie. Trump's second term could realign U.S. diplomacy away from traditional international alliances and more towards populist, authoritarian politicians, according to both those leaders and outside observers. How about this? He wants to work with other countries. Lead by example, not by force. That's a novel way of doing it. Whenever you see how well things are working in the United States, other countries will follow. Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary, 2 days before Tuesday's election. Viktor Orban made a daring prediction: Donald Trump will be president again. And that means by the end of the year, pro-peace political forces, pro-peace, remember this, pro-peace political forces will be in the majority in the West. Orban has been accused by the EU of burying Hungary's democracy by dominating media and building a network of loyal oligarchs. He has worried foreign leaders by drawing closer to Russian Vladimir Putin. What Orban calls a liberal democracy, his stigmatized civil society organization cracked down on. This is the problem. See, as we said before, the language of this. There, I fixed it. There is no such thing. Just so you know, it doesn't exist. The problem with this right here, the problem with whenever they say this, they've segregated people again. They've made them not part of the rest of the human race. Because instead of saying crack down on LBGT, LMNOP, QRS, T, and FU2 rights, by having you segregated like that, they have removed you from the rest of the human race. You have become an other. You have you either set yourself above or below everybody else, depending on your perspective. This is what Orban is calling a liberal democracy, because it makes no sense to the rational mind that, what, are you saying that you're better than me? Or are you saying that you're worse than me? Because I'm viewing you as an equal, but you've put yourself in this category that doesn't make any sense to the rest of the world. That's your problem. Left, if you want to get your head out of your ass at any point in time, you're more than welcome to join the rest of the human race. But as long as you want to play these identity politics, you will continue to lose. I think people are fed up with it. I know, everybody's been saying this for decades. It favors retaining power, even if that means contravening traditional Hungarian allies' interests. Vladimir Putin of Russia. Trump has avoided publicly criticizing Putin because that is not responsible. As a leader of the largest country in the world, the greatest military force, he has constantly had things to say to Putin, and he has constantly had things to say to Zelensky. In other words, you children need to stop. Don't make me intervene. There's clearly that sort of authoritarian-minded chemistry between them. Okay. Nigel Davis of whatever, you're in fucking London. Go suck a cock. Because I'm sure there's plenty of chickens that need their heads ripped off, and you can go geek love on them if you want to. Nigel, you live in fucking London. Keep your ass in London. Stay out of the United States. Or how about this? Fix shit over in Europe first before you want to come over and tell the United States how we need to run our our government. Why don't you get shit straightened out in London, Nigel? Or as I said, go suck a cock. That chemistry aligns with Trump's admiration for other authoritarian leaders. See, that's where he messes up. Good is noting Hungary and Orban as an example. Well, how about this? Go suck a cock. Trump has claimed that he will bring an end to Russia's war in Ukraine within 24 hours. Within 24 hours of him becoming president. Not right now. I guarantee you, he's got the best minds working on this. He probably already has a plan of what he's going to say. Because what country does not want to benefit and prosper? Tell me. So what country does not want to be able to say, hey, you know what? We have the greatest economy in the world. Ukraine was doing pretty good up to a point. But now they have authoritarian rule there. They have a dictator in place. Do you think that the Ukrainian people want that? Apparently, they don't know any better. Moscow may hope that Trump will sow dysfunction in NATO. That's not what it is. How about this? We stop supporting NATO. We pull all of our support out of NATO. How is that disrupting? Say, we're done. You want to have this alliance? It's you. It's on you. We're not going to support you anymore, NATO. How is that? How do you think that would work on the grand scheme of things if we walked away from NATO? Mm-hmm. Moscow may hope that he would sow dysfunction given his demands that other members of the alliance agreed military spending levels, which whenever you look at the amount that they're spending is very minimal, and his warnings that Russia could do whatever the hell they want to those who fail. Good Davis observed before the election that the Kremlin would welcome Trump's victory because of his apparent desire for the war in Ukraine to end on everybody's terms. That is amazing that they want the war to end in Ukraine. They want to stop putting lives out there, throwing bodies at a situation that could have been resolved a long time ago. Good Davis observed before the election that the Kremlin would welcome Trump's victory because of his apparent desire for the war in Ukraine to end on terms of favorable to Russia. Putin and other authoritarian leaders would be encouraged by Trump's reelection, which will mean much less emphasis on American foreign policy, on the importance and value and strength of human rights. Or maybe we hold the European nations responsible for their own actions. If you want to support Ukraine, that's fine, but we're done. But we're going to give you 24 hours to get your shit together. We pull all our troops out. And then we're going to see where the chips fall. I think that Ukraine could do this on their own if they were responsible enough. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one of the country's both beloved and polarized political leaders. Under Modi, Hindu nationalism, once a fringe ideology in India, has become mainstream, and nobody's done more to advance this cause than the 74-year-old leader. Some critics believe Modi's politics have divided India, especially along religious lines. He was accused of using hate speech, which doesn't exist, in the country minority Muslim community, especially in the last phase of election campaign this year when he ramped up rhetoric against them. That is his prerogative. People voted for that, and they have that ability to do it. They are a different country than the United States. They don't have the same rights and freedoms that the United States does. Stop comparing your shit to other countries. To his supporters, Modi is a political outsider who broke the country's history of dynastic politics. He has risen and has been boosted in part of promises to overhaul India's economy. Are you telling me that India's economy is shit? Wow. but also by Hindi first politics that have resonated widely in a country where 80% of the population is Hindu. To his critics, Modi has strained democracy and threatened India's secular fabric, while his attacks on media and free speech have grown in more than a decade of his rule. What to know about the 2024 election? We don't care. President recap of Turkey. I'm not even going to try to say what his name is. Like Trump, he projects an image of strength that prioritize national interests. Isn't that amazing? It is a natural interest for your country to be the greatest that it can possibly be. Relies on populist messages that present him as a champion of the common people. Interesting. The Biden administration had kept his government at arm's length, but Trump and Erdogan have cultivated a cordial relationship, that despite a series of differences between their countries, like when the Trump administration removed Turkey from the F-35 fighter jet program in 2019 over Ankara's purchase of a Russian-made defense missile system. Amazing how that happens. Yes, UK has gone to the dogs. President Javier Milei of Argentina. If you've never heard this guy speak, oh man, he has blasted. He has blasted the World Economic Forum. They despise him because he was like, we're done playing your bullshit. President of Argentina has a brash style like Trump, rebukes multilateral institutions like the UN, like the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the World Health oligarchs, or whatever the hell you want to call them. The United Nations has taken a disdainful approach to diplomacy, snubbing meetings with the leaders of traditional allies like Brazil and Spain. Yeah. For many observers, the most worrying parallel involves Milei's claims that last year's presidential election in Argentina was rigged against him. That, along with his efforts to downplay the atrocities of Argentina's 76-83 bloody military dictatorship, was raised concerns about his impact on democracy. Milei congratulated Trump on his election victory Wednesday by posting an image on Instagram of the two men hugging in front of their national flags. You know you can count on Argentina to carry out your task. The caption reads, "Now make America great again." That's his task, is to make America great again. Analysts say his cash-strapped government, badly in need of support from the U.S. as the largest stakeholder in the International Monetary Fund, has been betting on a Trump win. Milei's administration is pining its hope on the idea that Trump could exert pressure on the IMF to lend more money to Argentina, its biggest debtor. The fund is weighing whether to lend Argentina more cash, which Milei's libertarian government needs to fully re-enter the world market and exit currency controls. During Trump's first term, the IMF granted Argentina, at the time led by conservative President Mauricio Macri, the controversial $57 billion bailout. Marciano Machado, principal analyst for the Americas at Verisoft Maplecroft, a global risk intelligence firm. And if I look at this company, the Americas at if I look at this company, do I think I'm going to find diversity, equity, and inclusion involved in what they have to say? Is that maybe why they're not loaning them the money? The global risk intelligence firm said that while U.S. institutions, a separation of powers, were designed to prevent autocratic rule, Argentina is now going back to a phase where the very parameters of its institutions are being pressured. How about I just do a quick search for this? I do a quick search for this. Maplecroft. Oh, here we go. There it is. There it is. There it is. What is Maplecroft? Maplecroft is ESG. Yeah, you so that this America's at Verisk Maplecroft. There you go. There you go. This is what they're about. Verisk Maplecroft. If you want to learn about them, about who we are? Well, all you have to do is look at global risk data. Climate, environmental, economic, human rights, political, commodity, industry, risk data. Who are we? Oh, let's see. Let's find out who they are. And organizations thrive to understand and adapt fast-changing world. We empower them to put the environment, human rights, and political risk at the heart of their decision-making. We do this by providing unparalleled intelligence on sustainability, resilience, and ESG. Amazing, huh? So they're trying to look at the big picture, make positive outcomes, possibly in a time of change, helping people, businesses, and societies become stronger by creating values with values. Global risk data, climate and environment, ESG reporting. What is ESG reporting? Oh, ESG is your social score. That's what their ESG is saying, your social score. You don't score high enough on our social ladder. That's their big thing here. So this analysis about your global score, that while the U.S. institutions and separation of powers are designed to prevent this, blah, 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 blah. While the leftist FICO has used Trump rhetoric similar to Trump's, FICO even compared the July assassination attempt against Trump to his own wounding in a shooting in May. It's a carbon copy scenario. FICO said political opponents of Donald Trump are trying to imprison him, and when they don't succeed, they enrage the public so much that some loser picks up a gun. No lies detected there. Like Trump, FICO displays contempt for the mainstream media and has declared war on illegals. FICO has faced criminal charges for organized crime, which he denounced as politically motivated. The case was eventually dismissed. Go figure. The Slavic leader has condemned the West's approach to the war in Ukraine and canceled weapon shipments to Kyiv. FICO, like Orban, is known for his pro-Russian views and opposes EU sanctions on Moscow, and he has said he would block Ukraine from joining NATO. Good morning, Tammy, 1776. Good morning, Connie. Good to see you. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day so far. It's a beautiful morning, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to be better. All of these things that you see shall pass eventually. It will be a new election cycle in 4 years. Everybody's going to do just fine. None of the world is going to end in a blaze of glory. It's going to continue doing, it's going to continue going. We're going to have the best 4 years. The best 4 years are coming up. Best for you, best for me, best for our economy, best for your children, your grandchildren. And that's only the beginning of it. That is only the beginning of where we're going to be. Everybody, I'm going to send you guys over to go see Mo. Make sure you give her a like and subscribe. Give her some love. Show her some love. And Ukraine has no business joining NATO. Exactly. My thoughts precisely. And with that, everybody, have a good day. We will see you very, very soon. I should be doing a stream tonight if I can get my shit together. I've got some good ones for you tonight. Some good stuff coming up. Might involve some interesting. Let's see.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning, Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes. jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Hit it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Hit it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Time to go fill up